So Ezra's on our left, and we have Janet on our right.
Hi, Zeb.
So please, just share your hearts and souls like agape, which is unconditional divine love of God. What are your thoughts on that as a movement for all humanity to unite?
Do you want to go first?
Please.
Sure. I think that all human beings need to open their minds, educate themselves, and realize that there's so much more to the word God than God. It is so much bigger than that, and that we all need to unite as one being to understand that no matter what we call our God, no matter what we call our Bible, that we all are looking for the same thing in essence, and that loving one another and being open-minded is the only way to get there.
Ezra?
So I take agape in more of the traditional sense, and even with that, I do think that agape or God or Allah or however you address that being is definitely more open than what you think it is. I think that it is very much a human movement. I also think that it is very much a way to express yourself, because no matter what walk of life that you have, no matter what religion, no matter what orientation that you have, like agape, God, Allah, Ishwa, however you pronounce it, loves you. And no matter how it is, they accept you.
Yeah.
And it is a way to live, and it is a way to love people, and it is a way to be. So that's how I find agape.
That's very beautiful. Now, Janet, let me ask you this: you have a unique background. Your father was in ministry, right? Official ministries. How did that shape your mentality?
It made me realize that I need to be the one that's open-minded, because too many people on our planet are not. And with my privilege as a white woman, I have a lot of privilege in that I can push myself forward to encourage people to realize that there's not one way. All ways are correct. Every way that there is to love and accept and be open-minded is correct. And that there is no religion on this planet that will get you where you want to go, because we're all going to the same place.
Now, you mentioned being white. There's 3 white people here talking, me and Ezra and yourself. How does it sort of affect the dialogue? Us, the 3 of us being white, how does it affect us?
It affects it tremendously, because I think that the white individual has taken religion and twisted it into a way that it has to be a certain way, and that it has to go a certain way, and that it has to be followed a certain way, and that's absolutely incorrect. All of us play a part in this universe, and the sooner we realize that, the sooner we'll all be able to get along, and that we'll all be able to become one.
So when our physical hearts stop beating, what do you believe will happen in the afterlife? What happens when our hearts stop beating, physical hearts?
I think when my heart stops beating, then my energy will move on to something else. I can't tell you what I believe that is. I honestly don't know. I will have to experience it, but I don't think that it's to be in some heaven or some hell. I think that it will be recreated in some shape or form. You cannot destroy energy. It's a scientific fact. It cannot be destroyed. So my energy will leave this physical plane and remain somewhere, whether that be to come back as another human being or to just spread itself across the universe. I don't know what that is, but I believe that it will be there.
So do you believe in reincarnation? You haven't formulated that path yet.
I haven't completely decided. I don't know that I will ever decide. I think that most of my life is based on finding that pursuit and pursuing that knowledge, and there's never going to be a finite answer. As long as we live, it's the pursuit of finding better that makes us better, not deciding that something's better.
And if the Agape movement would actually answer that very question very effectively and very fully, completely, would you be satisfied?
I think so. Agape, meaning completely free and open, is something I think we all strive for, and that if we would just take a minute to stop and realize that the conditions the world has put on us are not the conditions that we actually live in, then we would change our mindset about almost everything.
Janet, what would satisfy you in terms of, like, let's say, a miracle of sorts that needs to be performed for you to be a convert, quote unquote, or something of that nature?
If I had wishes, and if we're going to wish here and throw our wishes out in the air and nothing is of object, is that every human being's mind be open completely. And that if everyone's mind is open completely, we have the capacity to see beyond what's right in front of us, and that we can build on one another.
That is remarkable. Now, Ezra, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As far as your belief system, what do you think is missing in the current organized religion, or just in our world today where everybody's in a state of fear and panic and disorder? What is missing today?
So I think acceptance is the main thing that's missing. I'm an atheist primarily because any sort of system I've ever been a part of that has a God with it has been very damning towards people who are open to all walks of life.
Right.
I think that's able to change, and I do think that with, the whole agape movement and with God being more personal, I would say, that is subject to change. But with specific religious backgrounds and with specific denominations and types that people follow, I think that a lot of it is very textbook and very much like closed-minded.
Do you need any special revelation from God, or do you need any miracles to happen for you to have this sort of new inspiration, new faith, new belief, for you to become alive again?
No, I don't. For me, it's
what's missing for you?
For me, what's missing for me is just acceptance. Like, Islam has been a very accepting religion. It's been a very open-minded religion. A lot of Muslims that I know have been very open to the fact that I am trans and the fact that I am also pansexual. So for me to fully accept a religion, it's entirely just an acceptance of walk of life.
100% all over, not just sexuality, but the world at large. 100% acceptance.
Now, question for both of you, Janet and Ezra. Now, let me ask both of you: do you believe that in your heart of hearts that the biggest problem today with humanity, the fact, the lack of acceptance, the lack of the cause of all of our problems is because in our early childhood development, perhaps something happened to all of us that caused us to experience this trauma that we haven't quite gotten over. And if we did get over that trauma, all of us as one human being, holding hands and giving each other hugs, that we could be a new type of civilization.
I would say yeah. I know for just me personally, and I'll let you speak.
Oh, go ahead.
So personally, I experienced some fairly severe childhood trauma, and I think that led into a lot of what I believe now. And I think that whether it's a religion or a theology, something that accepts that trauma and says, you know what, that was messed up, but we accept you for what you are, and we are 100% okay for what you're doing.
Parental abuse?
Yeah, that was so specific trauma with me. You're totally free to put this on air or whatever you have.
Sure.
So I was in my childhood. Parental neglect was a big thing. Sexual trauma was a big thing. Also, I don't know how to categorize this. Maybe you know, but like the fact that shit happened to me, and I told my parents about it, and they didn't believe it. I don't know what that would be categorized.
Denial.
Yeah.
Denial. It's social denial.
Yeah. Yeah, social denial, the fact that parents don't want to believe that certain things happen to their kids.
That bad things can happen to their children.
Yeah, that was a big thing in my childhood, and from that, I think that as far as religion goes, and specifically what you're talking about, so like agape, I think that is accepted.
It's a new way of thinking, new way of uniting, new way of accepting, and new way of living.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't know if this fits into what you're trying to do, but anything that bridges Catholicism with Judaism and Christianity in any sense.
And beyond.
Yeah.
And beyond, right.
And beyond.
Because if you think about it, like all three of those like archetypes.
Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel, where you learn the secrets that are not to be learned anywhere else. The biggest miracle has happened. You have arrived into this world and instantly forgotten everything that happened to you in the past. So you don't know, no clue who you are, where you're headed, and essentially you're basically starting from scratch. You have to learn from books, from your parents, all that programming and indoctrination from the society that will program you into a biological kind of a cyborg, a being that is clueless about who he is or who she is. So we're going to shed some light on our origins of who we are, where we are, and where we're headed when our physical hearts will stop beating. My name's Sam, and I've actually been to the other side. I will also help you achieve your health goals. I used to be 205. I lost 40 pounds in 90 days on a natural diet. Now I'm 160. I went even a little bit too far. You see, for 6 feet tall, I have to be ideally about 170. So I'm going to gain 10 pounds back. I eat an organic fruit every morning on an empty stomach, and that's how I was able to get into shape and lose all that unwanted weight. So now I could play tennis for 3 to 4 hours on the courts, where before, at the very most, I could do 45 minutes when I was 205. Now, as far as finances, what can you possibly want to know about finances in these turbulent times when the economy is in shambles, gas prices are rising, there's war in Ukraine, or what they call special military operation? There is hope, actually. I've been managing a family office for the past 28 years, and I could share with you the secrets, the financial secrets that the very wealthy, top echelon of society are using that is not widely known to the general public. The general public cannot usually participate in the stock market without the possibility of losing money, where with these special financial tools you would be able to participate in the gains but never in the losses. No matter what happens, you will never lose your money, and that's coming up. So I'd be happy to share that with you. This is my token of sharing with the world everything that I know that would be beneficial, but most importantly, spirituality. If you're a Christian or you're a Muslim or you're a Buddhist, I'd like to unite all of us under one umbrella of protecting our dignity and our spirituality that is being trampled on these days on every social media platform, from every conceivable angle. Because you see, the dark forces, the demons, the Iblis, which is the Arabic word for Lucifer in the Christian Bible. Lucifer was the brightest and the wisest and the most beautiful, most powerful angel ever created by God. Then he fell from heaven, and the word or the name Iblis corresponds in Islam to the Christian name for Lucifer. And so I would like to connect all religions into one and forget about our differences at this point, because unless we stand our ground, we have no chance of surviving this barrage of spiritual warfare that we're involved in, bombardment of from every conceivable angle, from every conceivable argument. Today you turn on the news or TV and you see these images that we're bombarded with. I just saw a movie trailer where this young teenage boy, he might be 14, comes up to his father in a trailer in a movie preview, and he says, "Dad, I think I'm pregnant," or "I think I had my first period," which is absolutely inconceivable 10 or 20 years ago. But right now, from every corner, we, the adults, and especially the younger generation, is being bombarded with this filth, with this garbage. And we need to stop that. And this is why I want to encourage you to record a similar video on YouTube to essentially outshadow the propaganda that comes from the dark side. If you're a man or a woman of faith, create a YouTube channel to share your ideas the same way I'm doing it here, openly, unscripted. I'm ad-libbing, speaking impromptu to you, looking directly at the camera and saying that we must unite no matter what denomination or faith we belong in. As long as we believe in the same God, one and only God who created the heaven and earth and us, we're in the same boat, essentially. We're being exterminated like cockroaches right now. And we have to unite. We have to be proactive. We have to create some kind of a voice, a united voice on all social media platforms to broadcast into the world of darkness that we're going to stand our ground and not allow that filth to essentially be propagated in our circles, amongst our children, amongst our circle of friends. Now, the idea that, let's talk about health now. A lot of people are overweight. They have all kinds of problems, psychiatric problems, psychological problems, anxiety, depression, fibromyalgia, you name it. The conditions are plenty. 20 years ago, the Harvard Medical School did a study and they found that 1 out of 10,000 children were autistic. Today, they say 1 out of 3 children are autistic, and in the next few years, it would be catastrophic numbers. They wouldn't be able to tie their own shoes without outside help. Now, what's causing autism? What's causing anxiety? What's causing depression? All of our problems come from within, from our spiritual problems, because we're not rooted. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we are. We don't understand the warfare, the spiritual warfare that's happening on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, every second, because those beings, whom we call demons, they never sleep. They never eat food. They're always ready to attack us and to try to entice us into that otherworldly or into that demonic lifestyle and the way of thinking. And we must resist. We must use all of our power and support from our fellow believers to stop or to put a stop to that kind of activity. For example, many years ago, my wife befriended a Muslim woman. So we went to each other's homes and visited with each other. And, Muslims, just like Christians, they want the same for their children. They worship the same God who created heaven and earth. And minus the small differences, I would like to say that we are all actually part of the same family who are trying to do our very best, living a good life on this planet, helping the poor, the widows, and the orphans. This is what I wanted to talk to you about next. When we see a homeless person on the street, sometimes we're tempted to say, well, maybe he's just an actor. Maybe he's just an alcoholic or a drug addict, and he's going to use the money for that purpose. But, I'd rather be deceived by someone who's asking for money after I give him the money than not give him the money and have the money and opportunity to help this person. To me, it's really a very simple decision, because, it is written in the Bible that by entertaining strangers, sometimes we have unwittingly entertained angels. We don't know when we are dealing with angels or when we're dealing with really homeless people. So this is why I encourage you to always have a few dollars ready to help those who are on the street asking in the heat or in the cold of whatever the weather is. So I'll show you a system that I have. I have a money clip here that's always ready for all good deeds, helping the poor, the homeless on the street, or your church activity, anything that has to do with charitable causes or benevolence. It's always on me, always with me, ready for that very purpose, for church, for the homeless, to help any sort of a cause that's that is on the spur of the moment. It happens on the spur of the moment. Now, this is my personal wallet or business wallet, if you will, that I use for my business expenses. So this particular wallet obviously is in my different pocket, and I usually don't mix them. One is for personal or business expenses or purposes. The other one is my money clip is for charitable causes. I highly recommend that you take on this system. It's very convenient, and it disciplines you to not to have to come up with any excuses. Somebody asks, you have the money to give them. You'll be richly blessed by God. And so, moving on, I support ABC Homes. That stands for Arkansas Children's Baptist Homes. Essentially, it's an orphanage. Let's call a spade a spade. It's an orphanage where they're doing a fantastic job helping orphans, children who don't have parents. And this is probably the most important charity that we can be involved in, because God wants us to help the orphans, the widows, and the homeless. Anybody who comes our way for help, we better not find an excuse in our mind. If we're able to help, give them a few dollars, however much you can afford. If we don't have any money to give at the moment, maybe we can just give them our time, our energy, or some kind words at the very least. Whoever comes our way, just try to help them. Try to help them with as much, whatever you can. Now, as far as finances, so as I mentioned, I run a family office. I've been doing this for 28 years, since 1994, and we manage a little under $7 billion. We have not lost any money since day one. Now, this is a small operation compared to some other larger hedge funds. For example, Ray Dalio, he manages $160 billion. He also not lost any money, as far as I know, since the inception of his hedge fund. He's a little bit older, more experienced than me, but he decided to share all of his experience when it comes to trading or investing with the world by creating a video on YouTube, and I'm doing the very same thing, except his analysis macroeconomic or on a global scale. I'm going to share with you the financial tools that you can apply in your daily life, how you can invest tax-free and participate in the market gains, but not lose any money if the market goes down. That's right, there's a special IRS code that allows for that type of a financial instrument to be used for tax-free purposes, and there's a special mechanism that allows that particular financial instrument not to lose any money if the market goes down. And so be happy to share that with you. So health, spirituality, finances is what I have first-hand experience. As I mentioned, I went to the other side, I came back, and my memories for some reason were not erased. Normally when a person goes to the other side, and or whenever we're born on this planet, all of our memories of our past existence is being erased or not allowed to be accessed, because perhaps it's our time here on this planet to learn who we are and try to sort of elevate our spirits and grow as human beings. But in my case, I received a very, very unique data source or information about who we are, where we come from, and where we're going to be going after our physical hearts will stop beating. So I'll be happy to share that with you as well. And it's a little bit different than actually what you experience. It gave me the, if you will, a certain advantage of, in a way, seeing around the corner just a little bit, slightly, with my projections about the economy, about the global wars, about the pandemic, and people behind it who's doing all those activities. So I predicted the invasion of Ukraine to be happening on February 21st, 2022, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. It actually happened on February 24th, 3 days later. I was 3 days off, but it's still quite accurate. So my prediction is by December the 14th of 2022, Anno Domini, the collapse of the global financial system will be finalized, and there will be famines and no drinking water left. In most countries, everything will be polluted with radiation from nuclear war, from nuclear detonations, nuclear attacks, nuclear warheads that will be detonated in the air. And so that is my prediction, that is my forecast, and I'm here to help you sort of find a way to cope with that. Prepare a bunker, grow some, to be able to learn how to grow some food, not necessarily, cattle or livestock, but at least some vegetables so you can survive. So you'll become a vegetarian or vegan, if you will, but at least you'll be able to survive. There's a methodology for that. And that's what this channel is for, is to share all of the knowledge that I have accumulated about spirituality, health, and finance to help you survive, to help you become a more efficient and effective person in the shortest period of time with my help. So I am putting together a special platform where you could reach me, first by email, then we could schedule a Calendly event. We can talk on the phone, and I can help you with all three events. If you're a believer, if you're a business owner, and if you have questions about basically financial questions about the best possible investment opportunities or protecting your family financially. If you're serious about that, that is my kind of a mission on this planet, is to voice our concerns, to give each other support, spiritual concerns about that we're becoming second-class citizens. The dark side is kind of essentially is belittling us or sliding us into the category of second-class citizens, which is unacceptable. 20 years ago, this was not possible. We were the majority and they were the minority, hidden in a closet. Now the demons have gotten brazen-faced, so emboldened, so they came out of the closet and they're telling us what to do, which is not going to happen. So that's why I'm recording this message. I would like to encourage you to do the very same thing, to be on YouTube, to be sharing this message with the rest of the world, encouraging other people who are looking for this encouragement. If every believer, both Christians and Muslims and Buddhists, will have this channel, will have this sort of a similar channel on YouTube, sharing their experience, sharing their thoughts, and promoting the message of hope, spirituality, the message of darkness will be canceled. There won't be any place or opportunity for it to dwell in cyberspace, on social media. People will be busy watching the good news, the evangelion, the Greek word for the good news, meaning that there is a way, there's hope. We need to have hope to live another day. And this is the type of information that I'm bringing to you, because I feel like this is my time, this is my mission, this is my purpose, this is my ministry in life, to share with you everything I know firsthand about spirituality, health, and finances. So, on this note, I encourage you to record a similar video on YouTube, create a channel. It's not very complicated, and share with the world, again, the good news from your perspective about some of the areas of your expertise. You don't have to type up a script. I'm speaking here impromptu. I'm ad-libbing, speaking from the heart, looking at the camera and saying, my name is Sam. I've been doing the finances for 28 years. It took me 90 days to lose 40 pounds on a natural diet, eating organic fruit on an empty stomach every morning. And I've been to the other side, so I could share a thing or two with you about how the other side, the mechanism, how it controls or governs our daily lives, how the demons and the angels are involved in our decision making, how we must be firm in our faith as Muslims, as Christians, as Buddhists, and choosing the right path, and not being easily swayed by the dark forces, because that's what we're dealing with on a daily basis. Remember the tobacco companies? They used to spike cigarettes with chemicals, so you would remain there. If you were a smoker, you would remain their permanent customer. Well, the same thing has been happening since 1930s with the alcoholic beverages in the United States of America. That's right, recently, an iconic American company was sold to a European company. They didn't want to sell, but the European company actually insisted. They blackmailed them and said, if you're not going to sell, we're going to release to the world the chemical formula of how you've been poisoning or spiking your drinks to keep your customers addicted. So they finally acquiesced, gave in, and sold the company to this European giant. But see, everybody's doing that. So if you're at a bar, you're drinking some beer or other alcoholic beverages, and you think you're social, you like this atmosphere, you're not social. You actually are addicted to that beverage. That's right. It's been spiked, more than likely, and you just don't know it. Now you do. See, 5 minutes ago you didn't know, now you do. I don't drink any alcoholic beverages other than, maybe some champagne on New Year's because it's a symbolic gesture. I don't want to spoil an occasion. But what happens when you drink alcoholic beverages and you feel the buzz, or you become drunk or tipsy, or you're actually killing your capillaries, your blood, your neurons, your brain cells. They become essentially, all the nutrients that normally pass through those capillaries, through those passages, become constricted. So you're killing your brain. You're putting your brain into an artificial, basically you're signing your own death sentence. It's called apoptosis, the death of the cells. It's the Greek word for the death of the cells. And so my suggestion, you look at it from this perspective. Do you want prematurely your brain to die? Of course not. So then why do you want to experience that? It's not worth it. I quit drinking maybe 10 years ago, and I feel a lot more alive, more energetic, and I recommend you do the same. Just quit drinking, pour it down the drain. It's not worth it. So, on this note, what I'd like to do is invite you to create a similar video so you can actually share with the world about some of your experiences, and most importantly, offer support to those people who are looking for this type of information. Encouraging message from fellow believers, from Muslims, from Christians, from Buddhists, from all of us who believe in God who created heaven and earth. And I highly, highly recommend that you do it without delay, meaning don't procrastinate. Get it done, create a channel, and you will be richly blessed. Support the orphans, give money to the homeless people, because they could be angels that God is sending to test your heart, to see if your mouth is where you do what you preach, essentially. So use the money clip method. That's a great system that I have. As far as for finances, you can contact me. I'll be happy to share for your family to be in the best financial shape. Health, I'll be happy to share with you how you could also lose weight the same way I did. And when it comes to spirituality, most importantly, I'm here to concur that everything that the Bible says, the Quran says, is true. On the other side, we will see time does not exist on the other side, and what happens is time is not linear. So in other words, it doesn't flow from left to right or from right to left. Time, all events have already happened, if you will. On the other side, you have to, it's impossible to express in human language, but the best way I could describe it, all events have already happened, if you will, in that quantum reality. So, and because of the billions and billions of combinations that are up to us to decide. So if I'm going to record this message and encourage someone with this message, you see what happens is many people would be affected by this message. They'll change their path. And so I'm changing the world. I'm bringing the kingdom of heaven on earth, literally right now, by speaking my message. Impromptu doesn't make any difference, written down or impromptu, unscripted from the heart. But it will change, I hope, many, many people's, thousands, if not millions of people's lives. And they will take a different path. And that path will change their life, their destiny, their lot, their kismet, as they say in Arabic. And so that destiny is changeable, even though it has already happened in heaven. It's our prerogative to decide. Our free will has a lot to do with it. But anyway, I would like to encourage you. This is my short version, synopsis. I'm going to record another message, more details about the other side, but short version is this. I encourage you to record a message. I encourage you to participate in every single opportunity to help the homeless, the widows, the orphans, especially the orphans. Find an orphanage in your area wherever you live. Support them. Give them your help, financial help, or if you don't have money, your time, your energy. They need our support. And so the most important, I would say the most important admonition, if you will, that I could leave you with is go to your church, go to your mosque, whatever organization you belong to, or to your Buddhist temple, and become on fire for God. Become more active in your organization. If you don't belong to a mosque or a church, find a church in your local area where you belong, or you can contact me, and I would be happy to sort of keep you alive with these type of online virtual messages. But it's best for you to find a local organization and get plugged in and show your support and participate in person, face to face. That would be my recommendation. But the reason why I'm creating this message, making these messages is online, is to sort of prompt you instantly for an instant encouragement, support, instantly. That's how you search this, how it comes up. But I'm always available here for you. You can send me an email. We can schedule a conversation if time will allow me to do that. And I would be very happy to help you in person, either via email or by telephone. So on this note, by all means, I truly hope to see you at the very top. I truly hope to see you on the other side in paradise, when our physical hearts will stop beating and we'll all be called and assisted by the angels of God to depart from this physical realm and to go to the other side, where all of our loved ones are. That's the realm of the angels and demons. And so on this note, may God send his angels to guard you and protect you in everything that you do. And may you be richly blessed by God for all of your positive thoughts and actions and deeds. And one last thing, my pastor Jason, he adopted he has 3 children and 3 adopted children. Just a few hours ago, when I saw his little 4-year-old girl, you see, it's like an angelic being, that innocent little girl with big blue eyes and just looking at you and saying, I'm 4. It's, if you're moved to adopting a child, this could be absolutely the closest thing to reaching out and touching God as you're going to get on earth. Adopting an innocent child that perhaps has a problematic situation with the parents, or does not have any parents at all if it's an orphan. And so it's just words cannot describe the joy and the kindness that the child receives from the foster parents. It's I highly recommend you look into that if you are on the path, if you can do it, if you're called to do it. So, but at the very least, on the streets of wherever you live, help the homeless. Find a way to help the widows and the orphans. I've also created several nonprofits. Sometimes, I do the fundraisers, people donate, and then I forward the funds to ABC Homes or some other organizations. But most importantly, you could do the same on a smaller scale or whatever scale you're on. Just be involved, just show kindness. If not love, at least show kindness. Kindness is the sister of love. But God operates on that level. Agape love. Agape is the Greek word for the highest form of unconditional divine love of God that comes from the creator of the universe. This love that holds all things together. And using a scientific language, this is the what the astrophysicists have called dark matter or dark energy, which is an energy that actually connects all things in the universe, and it represents 95% of the mass of the universe. That's right. Not the planets, not the galaxies, but this invisible energy that holds all the physical things in place. The physical represents 5% of the mass of the universe. 95% is they don't know what it is. It's an invisible force or substance. That's the glue, using the colloquial, simple language, the glue that holds all things together. That's agape love. That's the energy of God. That's the kindness, if you will. If you can't picture that kindness that we share, that we give to other people, we share with other people, and that is representative of, that's the what I call frequency of God. And our purpose in life, by the way, our only purpose in life is to get on the frequency of God and to remain in the frequency of God for as long as we can. This is why Muslims pray 5 times a day. It's, prescribed in the Quran, but I say, why don't we pray 10 times a day without any prescription or official sort of guidance? Just think about it. Just one last thought I'll leave with you, and then the rest is all up to you. I'll just give you some ideas from the other side. Remember, it's a rare gift that I was given to have this information that was not erased from my memory upon re-entry into the realm of the planet Earth. What is a prayer? Is it a chore for you? Some men cannot pray, cannot even say love. Yeah, men are like that. That's true. But you know what? If you ever been to the other side, even if you're a man, you would be hugging trees. You know why? Because you see, prayer is a direct communication with the creator of the universe. So, who would you rather talk to? Some dummies, your neighbors, your friends, or God, the creator of the universe? Think about it. Just think about that. Prayer is the direct access, direct communication with the creator of the universe. So what are you hiding from? Ask yourself this question. Why are you hiding from God? Are you uncomfortable? No, you should be, every opportunity I get, I spend in prayer, in communion with God. Every opportunity, maybe 20, 30, 50 times a day. Every break that I get, even for a few minutes. I recommend you do the same. You'll get on the frequency of God. That's the only way we could connect with God on earth is by actually being on his frequency. There's no other way. God is spirit, so you can't touch him. He operates in multidimensional universe, in multidimensional realm that we cannot comprehend. We only deal with 3 dimensions, or 4 dimensions if you consider time. But the only way we can connect to God is through our thoughts, our prayers. So I encourage you, spend as much time in prayer as you can, and you will see God face to face, so to speak. And nothing will be impossible for you. You could walk on water. You could heal the sick. You could cast out demons, just like Jesus said. And I'm going to do another video on that, actually. It's the simplest way. When you connect with nature, I highly recommend you go out. If you live in a city, go out and you go to a city park. You touch the tree with your hand, your left hand, and kind of try to connect for half an hour, maybe an hour. Make sure nobody's around you, because you won't be able to do this meditative exercise if people are around you. You will feel their destructive thoughts, destructive or condescending thoughts, saying, what is this person doing holding a tree? It's just human beings, it's just different level of evolution. So find a remote place where you could do it. Just you and God and the tree. The tree represents God's creation. And the tree represents, you can thank the tree for giving us oxygen, for, keeping us safe from the winds. There's so many different things that trees are doing. And ask for forgiveness from the tree, that we unnecessarily, we cut down so much timber, for construction, for this or that, for paper. Or cutting down a live organism, you see. It's like the lungs, the Siberian forest and the Canadian forest, right and the left lung of an organism. That's being cut down illegally. Illegal logging is a big business in Siberia, and some of it happens in Canada, You can see it from space. It's terrible. I would like to encourage you to do that exercise. Go to a park, put your hand on the tree, and then with your right hand, you just, after a while, once you get to know Mother Nature, using the proverbial language, or Mother Nature, or the trees around you, you'll be able to create a little wind tunnel. Don't go overboard. Don't go the hurricane-style winds, but you'll see that actually there's this interaction between you and the trees. The foliage, the leaves are going to be moving, and they'll be playing with you. You'll be playing with it. It's just an exercise, because on that level you'll be able to connect to God easier. This is the real connection. And then the next step after that, you can walk on water. It's not very difficult. It's a process. You have to internalize it, and then you can heal the sick. You can raise people from the dead, just like Jesus said. You can raise people from the dead if you have that connection to God, the frequency of God, to understand who you are, what you do on this planet, and where you're headed. Instantly, it will be no-brainer. It will be no-brainer. It will be you'll be matter-of-factly walking on water, healing the sick, casting out demons, because that's what Jesus said. Remember, Peter walked on water too, without any special meditative practices. He saw Jesus walk on water, and then he walked after him. He said, "May I go?" He said, "Sure, come." And then he walked on water without any special preparation. All you need to have is desire to want to do that. And in Peter's case, he had a unique opportunity to follow Jesus himself. Remember, Jesus transfigured on Mount Tabor, Mount Moriah, in front of his disciples. This is the ultimate destiny for us here on earth, is to reach that level of perfection, is to transform, transfigure, where our body will begin to shine brighter than the sun. This is what we're made for. We just don't know. We're misled, underinformed, uninformed, misinformed, usually, by our parents, by society. But I'm offering you direct access to this kind of information that is straight from heaven, straight from the Bible, straight from the Quran, if you will. And by the way, the angels of God will assist you in transitioning. God will send his angels to guard you, protect you, because we need that protection badly. So on this note, I'm offering you a very, very direct access, if you will, to God, direct access to your spiritual growth, direct experience from my losing my weight, your health condition. I'll show you special breathing exercises, very good for you. Breathing is so powerful, you have no idea. And then the special exercise I do in the morning calisthenics, which is a fancy word for a little morning exercise for half an hour. That keeps me going. And then you will be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I'll share with you also some financial principles that will allow you to invest tax-free and to participate in market gains and never market losses. So on this note, I want to share with you everything I know. This is my mission in life. This is my ministry. And I want to encourage you to do the same with the rest of the world, meaning whatever you know, share it with the world. If you're a believer, share it with the world. Encourage other believers, just like I'm doing you. I'm encouraging you right now. Just pulled out my cameras, decided to record it, and that's it. You don't have to create a script. Just speak from the heart. Look directly into the lens of the camera and share your heart. Just share with the world what your concerns are. I shared my concern. We're becoming second-class citizens because some demon-possessed people are usurping us authority and putting us down. And we're allowing that to happen. How could this be? Enough is enough. And there's huge economic problems that are coming our way. The financial system being dismantled as we speak. See right now, China, Russia, India, Brazil, South Africa, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Belarus, Armenia, and of course Ukraine are being united into one economic alliance. And they are in the process currently of de-dollarization of the global financial system is happening right now with their united effort, because now they represent a very large economic force. So we have to be prepared for that. So you need to know how to grow those vegetables. You need to at least have a garden. You need to invest into, if you can, buying some land, building some bunkers for the nuclear or hurricanes or whatever catastrophic weather conditions that will be happening. It will be happening. And so we must be on guard. We must be proactive. I'm here to encourage you to do all that. And as much as I can, as much as my time will allow me to connect with you. But most importantly, this is my opportunity to talk to you freely like this. So write to me. Let's schedule a meeting if we can. If time will allow us, we'll get on the phone. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're a spiritual seeker, preferably all of the above, a business owner and a spiritual seeker, and you're trying to improve your health, that would be a perfect opportunity for me to take care of all three. That would be my preference. And then you would go out and share with the world how I would help you after you go through that process and you see how it works, and then you share it with others. And by sharing, we are multiplying, we're essentially multiplying kindness, agape love. And that's basically it. That's my short sermon for today. Pastor Sam is out. See you at the very top. May the angels of God keep you safe and your family safe. And I hope to see you at the very top in heaven when we get there. Take care. God bless you. And God willing, we'll talk soon.